I wanted to do an experiment on what a good yarn to use is for hand-woven napkins. And I'll show you the process and I'll share my thoughts with you. I've said it before and I'll say it again, the clamps that come with this loom are pretty weak, so get yourself some good quality ones. I knew that I wanted to end up with an 18-inch wide napkin, so I calculated that I would need to start with a 22.5-inch warp. Since I'm using a 15 DPI heddle and my warp is 22.5 inches wide, I should have 338 ends, or 336, I didn't actually count, that's just how the calculation works out. So don't do what I did. My warp is 60 inches long and that was not long enough. I should have probably done 72 inches. I was making 2 napkins that are 23 inches long each. Each one starts with 2 inches of black yarn and then 19 inches of white yarn and then 2 inches of black yarn. Spoiler alert, my second napkin was 5 inches too short. I haven't actually woven anything entirely from 8-2 cotton before, but it wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. But it was a whole lot more tedious than using the sugar and cream cotton yarn that I have been making washcloths with. So my goal was for these napkins to be 18 inches square. The first one was 19 inches wide and 17 inches long, so that was pretty close. And like I said before, my second one was pretty short. It was 13.5 inches long, so obviously I needed more of a warp. I've seen people weave hand towels with 8-2 cotton before, and I always kind of thought to myself that they would be so thin and wouldn't really feel like towels. But now that I've made them, they are they're not fluffy, but the texture of them is quite towel-like. What I think I'm going to do next in my attempt to make hand-woven napkins is to try linen yarn. I haven't woven with linen before, but I have knit with it. I figure there must be a reason that they call things table linens. Using this cotton yarn, I feel like it's not quite the right texture for a napkin. They really are super lovely, and I do understand why people make kitchen towels with them. In my opinion, I think napkins should be a little bit more rigid. They should feel like they are able to wipe your hands off instead of just being like something that is absorbent and going to dry your hands. I'm hoping linen will be the right answer to this, but we'll see. Another note that I have is that I don't know that I would necessarily continue to make a lot of napkins on my rigid heddle loom. I am about to pick up a floor loom, so I think maybe weaving stuff with an 8-2 size yarn would be more reasonable on that kind of loom because a rigid heddle is much slower moving. But we'll see. If I'm able to get a workable product, then this could work, but I think it would need to be on a faster loom. And if it just doesn't seem like it is worth my time, then I will probably just commit to sewing napkins with a nice fabric instead of trying to weave them.